All right, good morning. We are going to continue on with our next section. We're going to go on to 4.7, and we're going to be talking about differences of integers. Starring the number line. Now, what's kind of nice about this one is in the homework that I'm going to give you, they actually drew out the number lines for you, so it saves a little bit of work. You're pretty much going to be doing the same thing that we were doing before with adding things using integers and some of them being negative, but this time the main sign is going to be negative. And or the main sign is going to be subtracting because differences means subtract. And that is something that you'll see a lot in those little tests and those little quizzes, like find the difference of these two things, right? All right, so our book gives us 3 different ways to do these. I'm going to choose the one that I like best, and we may return to the other ones, but we probably won't, okay? But we'll see how it goes. So first, we're going to do some basic number line stuff, and then we're going to look at the trick and the rule that I use to subtract, okay? So if we have 4 minus 3, and we do it on our number line, right? We can have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, right? If we wanted to keep going, we are using the set of integers. That means we go all the way up to infinity in this direction and negative infinity in this direction if we kind of extended that number line all the way. If we start at 4 and I'm going to subtract 3, and whenever I subtract, that means I move left, right? So 1, 2, 3, and I end on 1, right? Now we should be able to do this. In fact, we should have been able to do this since about 3rd or 2nd grade. But we're going to take this and we're going to start to make it a little bit more complicated, because what's going to start to happen is that now we'll see things like this. Instead of 4 minus 3, we'll see 4 minus negative 3. And these problems look like this. The minus is our operation. That means it's what we're actually doing in this expression, right? Remember, this is an expression because there's no equal sign. And in here, we have our sign that lets us know what part of the number line that we're working with, right? So when we have something like this where we're subtracting a negative, the easiest way for me to think about this is that I'm going to take the opposite of them and I'm going to kind of cancel them out. So if I see 4 minus a negative 3, I know that I'm going to be basically adding instead. So I can write this as 4 plus 3. Because if I'm going to do a number line here, and I have my, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and I'm going to start with my 4. I'm going to subtract. So that means I'm going to be moving left, but I'm going to be going with a negative number. So that means I'm going to be going the opposite of my normal direction. So instead of going left, I'm going to be moving right 3. So it also means I built my number line incorrectly because I won't be able to go where I need to go. So instead of moving left for my subtraction, I'm going to move right because I'm subtracting a negative. So I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. So my rule for this, whenever I see a minus a negative, is I just turn them both into opposites and turn it into a positive. Let's look at a couple more examples. All right, so say, and if you feel like you get this already, then go on ahead. But I am going to do 2 more examples if you'd like to do it. We'll do example 1. All right, so let's take a look. Let me find some good examples in the book. If I want to use this, I'm going to say 6 minus negative 2. Now, if I wanted, I can look at my number line and draw it out. But the easiest way for me to simplify this is just turn it into, kind of cancel both of these out. Subtracting a negative means I'm really going to be adding. So I have 6 plus 2, which is going to turn it into 8. Now, for these questions, remember, you will have a number line for all of them. So I do expect you to just show me where it went. So if my little number line was like this, 8, 9, 10, 11, I'd want you to circle it and show me the hops as well as where you end up. Oops. I screwed up that whole number line. I started with the answer. So my number line would actually look like this, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. I would start with 6, do 2 hops to get onto my 8. And my answer, obviously, is an 8 once I move here. Now, it seems easy now because we're just using numbers, but it will get a little bit trickier once we start to put variables in because there's just more stuff going on, and it's important to keep track of everything that we're doing. Okay? I'll do just probably just one more example. And here, we're going to take a look at this one. -7 minus -5. All right. Oops, I'm off the page. So in this case, I am going to take the opposite of these two, but what I want to make sure that I don't do is I still have to keep my -7. So I have -7 plus 5. And this should remind me how I used to do those in those previous sections. And if I was again about to draw this on my number line, I would have my -7, -6, -5, -4, -3, oops, -2, -1, and I'd be starting at -7, and this time moving right as I go +5, because remember, right is a plus and left is for negative. So I'd be going 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I would end on -2. Remember, I can only cancel out the negatives when I'm using it for that particular digit, that particular term. This one here goes to positive, but this one here stays negative. Make sure that you check your answers as you go through it, and I think this should be a fairly easy section, but it's a lot of good practice using that number line. All right, good luck.